Hello, come on in, come on in, come on in. It is our time together. It is our time together. It is time for Tea Talk, 7 o'clock Sundays. You know how we do it, sis. I hope you have your hot tea and your journal. For some of you, you probably want some iced tea because it is so hot outside right now, unbelievably hot. So, I hope you got your tea. I hope you got your journal because it's our time to talk about why you feel stuck, even when you know that you want more. Why do you feel that way, sis? I'm Dr. T, a licensed professional counselor in the state of Georgia and South Carolina, and I am also a midlife identity expert. So tonight, let's get it together because I'm so excited about this topic. This is one of those things that a lot of women come to me about. We talk about why they feel stuck, why they are in the places they are in, why they keep making the same choices, why people won't do what they're supposed to do. But sis, here's the truth. They're not going to do what they need to do until you do what you're supposed to do first. It all starts with you. So tonight, let's talk about why you feel stuck. And here's what I did to get ready for our conversation tonight, sis. There are some plants in my office, beautiful plants that I've had for years, and they just love, love, love where they are in my office. And so I start to notice that a couple of the plants were still growing, but they were kind of yellowing as they were producing leaves. There were still leaves that were being produced on the plant, but the plant was producing yellow leaves at the same time. And it was kind of puzzling to me. Still beautiful plants. I could see them extending and growing. So I took a picture of a couple of the plants, and of course I uploaded them into chat, the new Google, and I've uploaded them into chat, and I began to have a conversation with chat. I don't know if you've named your chat. My chat is called Max. And so I asked Max, I say, Max, why are my plants still producing, but they have these yellow leaves that are growing in? So Max said to me, Dr. T, it looks like your plants need a little bit of help. He said, number one, they may need more sunlight. And I said, well, no, Max, they don't actually need more sunlight because they're actually sitting in a beautiful windowsill. The whole wall is a windowsill. So I know they're getting plenty of sunlight. That's not it. And so I asked Max again, I said, well, what else could be the problem if it's not the sunlight? Max says, well, looking at the picture, Dr. T, it looks like they've outgrown their pots. It looks like their roots can't grow anymore because the pot that they're in is too small. It looks like the soil may need to be replaced. Max asked me, he says, Dr. T, when was the last time you repotted the plants? I said, well, they've been in these pots for over two years, maybe 3 years, Max. And Max says to me, oh, well, Dr. T, that's also a problem. If they're in a pot that's too small, and if they're in the soil that they've been in for 2 to 3 years, they're not getting the nutrients they need out of that soil. Not only that, but there's nowhere else for the plant to grow. So not only was I depriving the plant of the nutrients that it needed because the soil was old, but I also had it in a space that it couldn't grow anymore. Sis, how many of you actually feel like those plants right now? That you're not getting what you need out of your life right now, which is why you're probably feeling stuck and you're desiring more. But not only that, you feel like you've outgrown where you are in your life right now. Some of your relationships you've outgrown. Some of the jobs that some of you have, you've outgrown. Some of your marriages may feel like you've outgrown them. Some of your friend groups you've outgrown. How many of you can look back and say to yourself, you know what? I might be just like Dr. T's plants. I'm not getting the nutrients that I need. I feel like I'm in a space that's too small for me, that I really want to bust out of it, but I just don't know what to do to get what I really need. Max told me that I needed to get some new soil for my plant. He also told me what soil to get so that I can feed my plants what they need so that they can thrive. He also told me that you want to go at least 2 pot sizes bigger than where the plant really is, because now the plant has what? Room to grow. And so that's what I want to say to you tonight, sis. You need to be in a different environment that gives you the nutrients, that gives you the choices, that gives you the decisions and the ability to make things happen, not for everybody else, but for you. Because of some of you right now, you're still growing, but here's what you're doing. You producing the yellow leaves like my plants were. The yellow leaves mean that there's more that they need to be able to do what? Thrive. So after tonight, I hope that you don't feel stuck anymore, because I'm going to give you 3 reasons why you really feel stuck. And it may be reasons that you hadn't even thought about, because maybe you're not really confused, sis. Maybe you're just comfortable and familiar with where you are. See, comfort, I've told you this before, comfort produces complacency. Yeah, comfort produces complacency. So where you are feels comfortable, but it's not fulfilling. Where you are feels comfortable, but it's not where you can grow. Where you are feels comfortable, but it's not where you can thrive. So tonight, what if you're not really stuck? What if you just need to make a decision about how you want to move forward? See, last week we talked about why your life isn't changing. And here's the thing, when we talked last week, sis, and I hope you did your homework, when we talked last week, there are some of you that need to make some choices. You need to make some choices about some boundaries. You need to make some choices about some relationships. You need to make some choices. But some of you are afraid to make those choices. Why? Because familiar feels safe to you. And so tonight, after tonight, I'm hoping that you're willing, that you're going to do the work, that after all of these tea talks that we're having together, sis, you're going to feel empowered enough to say, you know what? I'm okay being repotted. You know what? I'm okay getting some new soil, because I know once I get those things and I'm put in a place where I can thrive, the best of me is about to come out of me. So let me give you 3 reasons why you actually feel stuck, sis, in no particular order. But I want you to think about these as I give them to you. Go ahead, whip out your journal. I'm going to take a sip, because I want you to write these 3 down, because I want you to revisit them this week as you do your homework. 3 reasons why you feel stuck. Here's the first reason why you might feel stuck, sis. Familiar feels safer than change. Familiar feels safer than change. I recently lost weight. It's taken me a whole year to lose some weight. And can I just be honest with y'all? Can I tell y'all a secret? I hope y'all don't tell anybody else this secret. I'm going to tell you a secret. Don't tell nobody else. I still have some of the clothes that are like 2 sizes too big for me. And I realized, wait a minute, there's no room in my closet for new, because I'm holding on to old. And why am I holding on to old? Because old feels familiar. Yeah, the old clothes feel familiar. And it was safer for me to hold on to that size pair of jeans or that size outfit, because I knew what it felt like when I put it on. But can I be honest with you? Recently, I tried on those old outfits and they fell off of me. Why? Because the new me has emerged. The new me that made better food choices, the new me that's in the gym 5 o'clock in the morning, the new me that learns how to relax and learns how to go get her sunlight and learns how to ground, the new me doesn't fit those old clothes anymore. So why am I holding on to something that's taking up space in a place that I need? Good God Almighty. Why am I holding on to something that no longer fits my new identity? Y'all about to make me shout in here tonight. I'm holding on to something that no longer fits who I really am. And so I noticed it was taking up space. And so now I've got to clean out my closet because familiar felt safer than the change. And so now I have to remember the new me doesn't identify as that size person anymore. The new me can't fit in clothes anymore that she used to fit in because my identity has shifted. I no longer identify as that bigger, unhealthy person. I identify as a person that's healthier and makes healthier choices so that I can live a healthier lifestyle. Y'all about to make me shout tonight. Familiar can keep you comfortable and unfulfilled. Let me say that again. Familiar can keep you comfortable and unfulfilled. And so that's the first point I want to leave with you tonight. That's the first reason why you might feel a little stuck, because familiar feels safer than change. What change do you need to make tonight? If you're on Facebook, type that in the chat for me. What change do you need to make tonight? I've got to repot my plants. I've got to change their environment. I've got to clean up my closet from clothes that no longer fit so I can put clothes in the closet that fits. What change do you need to make tonight? Oh, y'all ain't hearing me talking to you tonight. Come on now, type in the chat what change you need to make. Tamika, is there a change that you need to make tonight? I'm just asking, inquiring minds want to know. Here's the second reason why you might feel stuck. Number two, you ready? I want you to write this in a journal. You've built your identity around the old you. Yeah, you've built your identity around who you used to be. And so you feel stuck, you feel torn because you're not who you're going to be, but you're not who you used to be in either. So you're sitting here in the middle trying to figure out, how do I shift? How do I move? Because I'm feeling stuck, like I can't go back to who I used to be, but I'm not quite who I want to be. You don't understand. And so growth may require you to grieve how you used to see yourself. Let me say that once again. Your growth may require you to grieve how you actually saw yourself. Now I'm about to make y'all laugh. Can I make y'all laugh? I hope you are sharing this with your sister, because there's a sister that you have, there's a friend that you have, there's a girlfriend that you have that needs to know why she feels stuck. So I hope you are sharing this video with her. I hope you are, because she needs to understand why she's feeling stuck. So I'm about to share something that's really funny with you all. So when I turned 50, which was 6 years ago, I'll be 56 next month. And here's what's so funny. I had to stop eating chicken. I know. Y'all, it was a process for me. I had to stop eating chicken. Some of my favorite meals, like popcorn chicken and barbecue chicken and Brunswick stew made with chicken breast, some of my favorite meals were made with chicken. But here's the problem. My body could no longer tolerate digesting chicken. I mean, at first it was like, I was like, okay, wait a minute. Maybe I need to make the chicken myself. Nope. I was making the chicken myself and I was still getting sick. Okay, well, let me go try Chick-fil-A's chicken. Maybe that's the problem. Nope. I tried Chick-fil-A's chicken. It was still making me sick. Some places I like to get my popcorn chicken from. Y'all know how we do those mojito wings from, those Mojo wings from Publix. Stop playing. You walk into Publix and you smell the chicken everywhere. I was getting chicken from Publix, y'all, and still getting sick. And so my husband and I went and got a workup from a functional medicine doctor in Atlanta, progressive medicine in Atlanta. And we got a functional medicine doctor. And one of the first things we had to do was get our sensitivity test done. Y'all, if you've never had a food sensitivity test, that's a whole experience right there. Good God Almighty. 3 days having to collect part of you. Let me just say it that way. And so I went and got a food sensitivity test done. Y'all got a food sensitivity test done. And guess what happened? Coming back on my food sensitivity test, it said that I was allergic to chicken, that it was on my do not eat list. Imagine that. Do not eat chicken. Not only that, but it also told me don't eat eggs for 72 hours. So if I eat eggs, I have to wait 72 hours before I can eat more eggs, because eggs is on my sensitivity list. So chicken was on my do not eat list. Eggs was on my sensitivity list. Y'all, I had to grieve not eating chicken. I couldn't eat my Mojo wings from Publix. I couldn't eat my popcorn chicken. I couldn't eat my grilled chicken. I couldn't eat my chicken Brunswick stew anymore, y'all. I was grieving chicken. But after I grieved eating chicken, my mindset shifted, and I'm now a person who doesn't eat chicken. I identify as a person who does not eat chicken. You can put a plate of hot wings in front of me from a place that I used to love eating hot wings from. Y'all, my mouth won't even water for the smell of the hot wings. Why? Because I now identify as a person who doesn't eat chicken anymore. Something doesn't have to be wrong for you to recognize that it's no longer right for you. Chicken isn't wrong, but chicken is not right for me. And so now I don't eat chicken. Why? Because I identify as a person who doesn't eat chicken. I had to change my identity and get rid of the old things that no longer serve me in order to be the person that I am today. Some of y'all need to have an identity shift. Some of y'all keep saying, well, I want this and I want that, but have you shifted the way you see yourself? Do you see yourself having those things? Do you see yourself as being that person? Sis, do you see yourself as being the person you've dreamed about? Have you grieved the old you? Have you grieved the you that says yes to everything? Have you grieved the you that says, I'm no longer going to keep showing up exhausted and unappreciated? I'm taking care of me. Have you grieved that version of you? Because until you say to yourself, listen, I'm going to be this new me, you can't move forward. And so the 3 reasons why you feel stuck, I'm going to go through them again because I want to make sure they're in your journal, sis. Reason number 1, you're familiar places, familiar people, familiar things, familiar choices feel safer to you. Familiar feels safer than change. Yeah, those familiar people, places, and things feel safer. That's reason number 1. You're stuck. Reason number 2, you're stuck. You've built your identity around the old you. There's a new you that wants to come out, but she can't come out until you get rid of the old you. And the 3rd reason you feel stuck is because growth comes with grief. You've got to grieve some of those things you've got to let go of. You've got to let go of them and grieve them. But what did I tell you? It doesn't mean that they were wrong. It just means that it no longer fits you. That's all. Listen, I've got some beautiful outfits that I got to get rid of. Oh, I'm going to grieve getting rid of them because they were made for me. They're one of a kind, made in Ghana. But guess what? They don't fit anymore. So yeah, I'm going to grieve that one of a kind outfit. But guess what? I can get more if I let that go. So there are some things you got to let go of. So how do you start moving again? Let's wrap this up, sis. How do you start moving forward again? When I had the conversation with ChatGPT, my Max says, Tracy, you got to give your plants new soil. You got to put them in a new pot. They're not gonna thrive until you do that. So my plants have outgrown where they are. They've outgrown it. And so, sis, I got a question for you. What have you outgrown? Have you outgrown some people? Have you outgrown some places? Have you outgrown some things that you used to do? What have you outgrown? That's what I want you to put in your journal. How do you start moving again? You got to ask yourself this question. What have I outgrown? Yeah. Have you outgrown saying yes? Have you outgrown just being available? When the phone rings, ding ding, here you are, answering it. Have you outgrown that? What have you outgrown? Here's the second question I want you to ask yourself, sis. What will happen if I let go? What if I let go of some of the responsibilities? What if I let go of some of the yeses? What if I let go of some of the choices that I make? What if I let go of some of the decisions that I've made in the past that I no longer want to make, that I want to make? What if I let go of those things? Right? Here's the thing that I ask women when I'm coaching them. It's not about what they will do. It's really about what you will do when you change your choices. See, what if you let go of those things? How are you going to feel? Not how are they going to feel, but how are you going to feel when you finally decide to let go? How are you going to fill your time when you let go of responsibilities that are not even yours? What are you going to do for you when you start shifting your focus from them to you? What is it going to look like for you to be in a space that's divinely created by you? And I say divinely created because there's divinity in you, sis. See, you were created to do things, but not necessarily do things for others. Your divine creations are creations for yourself as well. But you're so busy creating for others that you forgot that your creativity is actually a part for you. And so, what will happen to you when you finally let go? That's question number 2. And here's question number 3 I want you to ask yourself. What do I really want to choose? And that's going to require you to really sit with yourself because choosing you feels uncomfortable. Choosing you doesn't feel normal. And so it's like going to the gym. At first, you can't lift that much. But when you keep going, you find that you're getting stronger and lifting more. It's like those women and men who prepare to run 5K and 10K and marathons. At first, you may start out walking. And then you do a little bit of jogging. And now before you know it, you're running a mile, you're running 2 miles, you're running 3.5 miles. Now you're running a half marathon and you're running a marathon, all because you made a choice and a decision that you wanted to do something different. And so now, what do I really want to choose? You've got to sit with that question with yourself, because if failure wasn't an option, if making somebody else upset about your choices wasn't an option, what would you really choose for you? What would you really do with your time, your talent, and your treasure? For you, not for somebody else. And so, how do you get out of being stuck? How do you get out of feeling like you're not moving to your next level? You got to be intentional and not impulsive. That's the 4th thing I want you to write in your journal. You got to be intentional and not impulsive. Here's the problem with being impulsive. When you're impulsive one time, you may not be impulsive the second. And now you're looking like you're shifting. One day it's okay for you to say no. The next day you're going to say yes because you feel guilty. And so now you're being impulsive and not intentional. Intentional means that every single time this shows up, I'm going to respond this way. That's being intentional. How many times have you thought, if I could just be this, then I would feel this? Well, you will never feel this because you're not being this way or choosing this way every single time. That's what intentional means. I'm intentional about protecting my peace, and protecting my peace looks like this. I'm intentional about losing weight, and losing weight means I've got to do this, this, and this. I'm intentional about saving money, And saving money means that I've got to do this, this, and this. I'm intentional about writing my book. So writing my book means that I've got to do this, this, and this. What are those things that you know you need to be intentional about, but you keep being impulsive instead? See, I'm going to share something real quick here. When I decided to go back, because it was not a choice, it was a decision. When I decided to go back and get my doctorate degree, I had a conversation with my husband when we were out walking one evening. And I said to him, I said, honey, I've decided to go get my doctorate degree, right? Because I cut off all other choices. I cut off everything else other than going to get my doctorate degree. And I was intentional about doing it because there were some things that it was going to require both of us to sacrifice in the beginning in order for me to receive the reward of getting the doctorate degree in the end. It wasn't an impulsive decision, because impulsivity, guess what, can change how you go through the process. When the process gets too tough because you made an impulsive decision, you may pull out of it. But when you are intentional, when the tough gets going, listen, you dig in because you were intentional about your choice. And so there were some decisions that he and I had to make along the way in the process to fulfill my decision, my intentional decision of getting my doctorate degree. So some of you now have some intentional decisions you've got to make because you recognize that being impulsive no longer works for you. So that's the fourth thing. So how do you stop being stuck? Number one, you got to ask your question, what have I outgrown? What no longer works for me? Number two, what will happen if I really let go? If I really be who I want to be in this season? Number three, what do I really want to choose? What do you really want to choose for you? And number four, what do you really need to be intentional about instead of being impulsive? So here's what I want you to do for your homework, sis. Here's your homework for the week. You ready? Number one, write this statement. I have outgrown. And I want you to write everything you've outgrown. Just like my pots need to be repotted, my plants need to be repotted because they've outgrown their pot. What have you outgrown? Here's the second thing I want you to write in your journal for your homework this week. If I were living by design, because that's what we're doing in Midlife, sis, we're no longer leaving it up to chance. We're living by design, our design. So here's the statement I want you to write. If I were living by my design, I would, what would you do? That's your homework for the week. I've outgrown. What have you outgrown? And number two, if I were living by my design, what would I do? I would. There you go. I want you to sit with that all week, sis, because sometimes you're not stuck because you don't know what you want. Sometimes you're actually stuck because you've outgrown where you really are. That's the truth. And so just like my plants, you need a bigger pot. You need a better environment. You need an environment that helps you grow and thrive in midlife. That's why I wore the shirt. We vibing and thriving in midlife. If you liked tonight's session of Tea Talk, here's what I want you to do. I want you to, if you're on YouTube, I want you to subscribe. Thank you to all of my new subscribers. I hope you are enjoying what I'm putting up because to me, midlife is our best season. Listen, we were young in the 20s. We did everything but lick lightning. In our 30s, we were hustling and grinding. In our 40s, we were figuring out, wait a minute, things are shifting. And now that some of us are in our 50s and 60s, we realize that midlife is all about creating some magic because it's our best time of life. We're doing things our way. We're making intentional choices. And so thank you to all of the subscribers on YouTube who are clicking to subscribe. And if you are joining me on Facebook, here's what I want you to do. I want you to make sure you are sharing this with a sister. Tea Talk, Sunday nights, 7 o'clock p.m. You know how we rock and roll, sis. This is what we do. We come together, we get our journal, we have our tea talks, and you walk away with some homework that's going to keep you thinking about you all week long. That's right. So, ladies, thank you for coming in and joining me tonight. I'm Dr. T, and here's what I want you to always remember: to put you at the top of your list. Have an amazing night, and remember to do it for you. Good night, and thank you.